Hello, beautiful peasants, and welcome in. It's gonna be another great week at the tavern, and it was such a nice weekend after having such a great Kickstarter launch on Friday. So thank you guys for being part of that. Definitely made the weekend more fun. And Ricky and I had a great weekend. We treated ourselves we got some really fancy ribeye cuts from a grocery store and then grilled them at home. It was just awesome. We planned on going out and doing this fancy dinner, but in the last year or so, we've become much better cooks. And I was like, I don't want to pay someone to give me a good steak when we can like grill a great one. So yeah, it felt good to spend that money on better ingredients rather than just going out. I don't know, it was awesome. Hello. See Paint's here first, of course. Eloa, welcome in, Bunny, and of course, Hidden Valley. That's my husband. He is not going to terrorize our mod Eloa today. Oh man. Alrighty, so first things first, I want to share with you guys the freebie of the day because it's a really old model, but it is a cutie. This is one of the first of the first commissions I had done. It's a little flying squirrel. He's super cute. Yeah, real simple. And then it was two kids, so some parents had me sculpt their kids' characters. This is one of the little boys, and the other one was a rabbit folk warrior whose sword is a carrot. It was really, really cute. So making both of these was just great. So yeah. Hey Empress, good morning. I'm gonna wait a little bit here before we roll into the recap for the Summer Art Fest, because that was a huge success. So I haven't done an event like this in actually a few years, so it was really nice to have Eloa put this on for us. Essentially, first week was a huge hit. In a nutshell, I was really blown away by the creativity and the variety of submissions. I think we only had like 2 3D art submissions. It was like a lot of original music. There was a poem, stat blocks, maps, 2D art. It was just, there was so much variety. So we're going to go over that, everyone's submissions from week 1. And at the end of that, we'll reveal the new prompts as well. So that's going to be a good time. Very excited. If you're not sure where that's at, it's under Project References, M3DM Summer Art Fest. We'll be using the same channel for the entirety of the event I'm planning on. Just whenever you submit something, make sure you ping Eloa. It's pretty much all you need to know. All right, I'm too excited. Let's go ahead and check this out. And then we'll be rolling the new names, or the new prompts this week as well. Sweet, got both of those pulled up. And I think we're ready. All right, this is for the prompts. We're not going to do that first. We're actually going to review all of your guys' lovely work first. See if that's downloaded yet. It's taking a little bit. Thinking about it. There it is. All right, here we go. Also provided from Eloa. You always know if Eloa did something based on the colors and if they're Stitch. Alrighty. Yeah, the first week of Summer Art Fest is complete. Thank you guys so much for submissions and for participating in this event. It's the first time we've done this since the community has really grown a lot, and it was nice to bring y'all together. It was really lovely seeing all of your ideas develop over the week and the wide range of mediums. Yeah, I was floored by that. For those that were not involved in the first week, this is a great time to join in on the fun going forward. Either way, here's a document of week 1 submissions, and the prompts again were masked, forgotten, and mechanized. Let's see what the peasants came up with. Yeah, here's Paint. Paint has a custom D&D construct. Very, very cool. Brings up things to be forgotten while it's also being a mechanized construct. Oh my god. Unfortunately, guys, I tried my best out of many attempts. Mia just did not want to do anything at the Art Fest. And here is my very edited, very not true, full of swearing that never ever happened. Thank you. Hearts for Eloa. Show off this message. Took away my kneecaps and access to food and water. This is true. I'm terrible with my DMs. Hashtag me as 3D wondering. Oh my god. I did submissions though. I'm sure they're at the bottom. But it's not about me. It's about the peasants. Alright, Dr. Wildfire. And she mentioned I had a cool idea for a faded forgotten mask with mechanized parts. Hope you enjoy it. No tracing this one, all freehand. Which is a big deal for Gwen, because Gwen has been trying to get more comfortable with just drawing freehand, which isn't a problem by any means. But I'm just really proud of them. Bunny, I can't believe you'd say that to Eloa, Mia. Heartbreaking. peasants. Speaking of peasants, peasant monkey put in this gorgeous map right here. Yeah, and they mentioned, thanks for starting up Summer Art Fest. Got me to break off the rust and make a map for the first time in a couple months. So there you go, Forgotten Forest. This is gorgeous. And yeah, be sure to check out Monkey's official work. They have an entire business doing this. Meditating Monkey. Google it. Steamworks, an old bronze structure, but it's the knee I made the mount. Yeah, very, very cool. Man, I'm just baffled by how many like different types of like mediums that were involved in this project or in this festival. It's really cool. And then here's Empress. Empress did 3 different masks and kept iterating until she found something she liked. Very, very proud of you for doing so. Check that out. Obviously leaning into that masked component the most. And Sorrydem said, yeah, does this look like a doll? Sadly, I'm going on vacation tomorrow, so I'm able to work on this for 2 days, but I'm going to try to deliver something on Monday. And they totally did. This absolutely counts. This is very, very, very cool. And Just Lingual had a gorgeous sketch here. They wanted to do a full 3D model, but ran out of time. Which again, you don't have to do a huge project. Just create a little something. So they did this really cool sketch of this like creepy guy kind of crawling forward. A lovely sketch and unique design from our favorite linguist of the tavern. The sketch also has a fun dynamic pose. Yeah, there's some really strong character features on this mouse too. This is pretty awesome. It's the Ray. Ray, I was going to make him holographic eyes, but ended up kind of with petals. Oh well, mask. Thank you, Ray. Yeah, a very ethereal submission from our tavern favorite coin gambler, Ray. That is very accurate. Gorgeous. I like how like the transparency on this is very spooky. It's very cool. Ranch Boy Ricky. This is my husband. Yeah, so here we go. Grandpa's drill press and lathe. These are the very tools we used when he first introduced me to woodworking. We sat side by side turning a simple block of wood into my first pen. They now spend most of their time tucked in the corner of the shop gathering dust and made a quiet remember that he isn't forgotten. And this is super sweet because I walk by these tools every day. And Ricky definitely had to pull these out so they look nice, and there's a lot of thought put into this. Dusting them off. Naturally, they still look a little rusted because, I mean, they're super old, but it was really nice. Hey, Just Lingual's here. Hey, we're going over the submissions for the Summer Art Fest. We just went over your submission, actually. Yeah, fantastic submission all around from the heart and soul of M3DM. Our ranch boy, Ricky. Aw, very nice. And then Rudy. So I'm not going to play this song on here, but please go to our channel and listen to this. It's quite incredible. Rudy is a fantastic musician and wrote this piece. It's awesome. You gotta listen to it. And then Taka, I love this. This is a little different interpretation of Forgotten. This is a painting I started drawing roughly 10 years ago, but never finished. Very on the nose. I love that. Again, it kind of shows you guys that you can submit all kinds of stuff to the Summer Art Festival, just about putting a little something forward. Hey, RV is here. Hello, hello. We're going up submissions for week 1 of Summer Art Fest. Yeah, a lovely submission for the Tavern resident Dark Souls enjoyer. I would love to see them maybe revive this piece for a future week. Micah has this really cool poem essentially. Yeah, each line is 16 syllables and each line of stanza rhyming with the other lines of stanza, as if in the style of a poem from a fantasy setting. Pretty epic. You can read that whole thing or pause or kind of check out into our Discord. And then they also read it with some kind of cool spooky cadence to it. And then here's Bunny. This was a delight to read. I highly encourage you guys to read it. I just adored it. I wrote my own little response in the project reference. Yeah, from the tavern's favorite tomekeeper, Bonnie, we received a lovely written piece covering all the themes as a small crew uncovered a secret and mysterious tome. They had no choice but to investigate. It's pretty excellent. Again, I highly recommend reading it. So here's the wrap up. Oh, look. Yeah, see, I did do submissions. Thank you. The opening week of Summerfest, we had 14 participants in total, which is beautiful because that's my favorite number. It was meant to be. We had 11 unique mediums being used, ranging from sketches and sculptures to songs and some written narration. Thank you guys so much for your submissions and support of each other in the Discord. It's been lovely. This opening week was amazing, and it was really lovely to see all of your submissions come together across a very wide range skill set. Very impressive group of peasants, if I do say so. If you want to see more about these original submissions, I didn't have time to really read every single word here. Just jump into our Discord under Summer Art Fest right here. And there you go. And then, yes, this is from our lovely tavern maiden, Mia. That's me. This art fest, she's being judged differently from the rest, has her own set of challenges and hidden goals I'd like to see her hit. Some of you guys may have hidden goals as well. Very cool. She managed to have fun and create something she wanted to, all of a simple mission. This was a vital target I wanted her to hit, and she smashed it. Great work, Mia. Over to you to wrap up the first week of Summer Art Fest, kick off the second week of prompts. All right, let's do it. It is time. So again, we're gonna do a quick little scroll here because this is just really awesome. So you guys can get look at all the different mediums and submissions for week 1. This is beautiful. This is what a detailed showcase. Hello, this is really nice. Not a bad idea just to upload this PDF to the Summer Art Fest channel if you don't mind doing the Eloa, because it's a really nice summary. And then we could pin this instead of pinning individual submissions, because this is, again, quite nice. All the different, I'm just baffled by all the different mediums that we had showcased here. Very cool. I was expecting to have like all 3D art and like a sketch. Hey, member message. Oh, Grimnir, that's right. Hello, Grimnir. Welcome to Rare. Thank you, Grimnir. I love having you here. I would love if you were able to submit something for this next Summer Art Fest too, because you were fantastic as well. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Hello, meanwhile, I was like, must edit the... I think you might already be on there, actually. Awesome. So yeah, that is a wrap for week 1 of Summer Art Fest. Let's go ahead and move right along to week 2. Alrighty. So again, we're gonna have 3 different prompts. Let's get to prompt number 1. I love this little wheel so much. Oh my god, this is cute. Let's make it even bigger because it's awesome, but it's still centered. All right, prompt number 1 coming right up. Oh, I hoped it was going to be masked again. Okay, I'm not mad about that. Or we're going to do the inverse of it. I can't remember if it's going to be unmasked, which could be creepy. I'm not mad about that. Okay, there we go. Your new says hi, thank you. I'll try to get something in for sure. Awesome, awesome. How funny they got masked again. That's why we have 3. Again, you can do a combination of prompts or just one, up to you. Unless it's up to you if you want to skip a repeat or inverse it. I think I'm going to keep masked again, just because it's such a strong prompt. Ooh, masked and multi-headed. Those are going to fit together so well, potentially. I would like to keep them. Nah. Reaper says no, respins is double. No, I think it'd be too cool. I saw that my husband's been muted by my mod. Oh my god. Okay. So again, masked and multi-headed. And now here's the third one. It could be unmasked, I guess, too, but I think that just fits together so well. Oh, and Warden. Ooh. Okay. I especially love that because, again, I'm a huge fan of the Dragon Age series, so I immediately think of Grey Wardens. I might just sculpt my first Dragon Age Origins character, because, of course, they're a Grey Warden. I like it. Just single, if it spins, it wins. Yes. Okay, so, again, it's multi-headed, masked, and Warden are the 3 prompts. If we don't get some, like, Dark Souls-y goodness-inspired stuff, I don't know what would inspire it. We could always add a 4th if people don't want to use mask. I think what we could do instead is, like, if you want to hit all 3 prompts again, you could just do unmasked as well. So it could be masked or unmasked for this specific special one. I just love that we also hit multi-headed, so I'm like, that's just so cool. I want to make sure that we keep that. Okay, I'm gonna write that down, though I know Loa's probably already got it. So we'll do masked/unmasked, up to you. And then Warden. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just sculpt my original, one of my first playthroughs of Dragon Age Origins. That'd be cool. Awesome. I'm very, very excited for the second week of Art Fest. And again, if you're not familiar with the rules, you just create something. Based on one of these prompts, you can combine prompts or just do one, up to you. And then whenever you submit something, go to M3DM Summer Art Fest right here, and just make sure you ping Eloa. So to ping someone, all you do is Shift-2, this is the little @ sign, and then type in Eloa. And there you go. That's how you ping someone, just in case you're not sure. It didn't show it. There you go. So again, @Eloa. Meep. Because I know not everyone knows. There you go. Alrighty. Well, that's it. Eloa says multi-headed is my favorite prompt. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It is very cool. All right, cool. Well, that's our warm-up. That's everything I wanted to cover, except for one more thing, actually, but wait, there's more. On Friday, we had the kickoff to my Kickstarter project. And I want you guys know that it's been a huge freaking success. The funding goal is 1,000, and we are currently over triple that, which I'm really happy. I predicted that it would at least fund and then hit around 2,000. Past that, I really don't know. So being at 3,300 with 18 days to go is fantastic. Again, thank you guys so much to everyone that supported, or that's just here as well. Because by being here, again, you're supporting everything that is M3DM. So thank you. All right, well, I gotta start thinking about these prompts. Very cool. I might make stuff today for that during happy hour. Or not. I'll just kind of wing it. But for sure, I'll create something for this week. Yeah. All right, for now, we do have some time for doors open. And we'll go ahead and get this all the way post-process. It's really close to being done. Reaper says the spam Eloa. No, we have to be nice to them after what Ricky did last week. It was very funny, but now we have to be nice to Eloa. Just for like one day. No more than that. Also, since Ricky is like our resident comedian here, he doesn't repeat jokes. So you don't have to worry about that happening again, Eloa. Something else new and terrible, maybe. But not that specific thing. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I was pretty sleepy and relaxed after having a full week. Also, it is officially summer here in East Tennessee, and it is 1,000,000 degrees. Oh my goodness, it is so hot and humid here. It's not too bad. Like first thing in the morning, there's like a very specific time of day that's not too bad. Too early morning is just everything is wet and terrible and humid and hot. But like right around like 10 a.m. it's kind of okay again. Yeah. Just Lingual says, I designed a miniature board game that has a Warden character. I could design that one. Heck yeah, you could. That'd be awesome. A Hydra with a big shield. That'd be really cool. Reaper says, Mia, even if it is Chaos Monday. Even if it is Chaos Monday. And even though I know like humidity makes things feel more hot, nothing beats where I came from in like the Central Valley of California, where we'd have 30 plus days in a row that were over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but I would like to traumatize our other viewers here for a second here. That is 38 degrees Celsius. The hottest day it ever was 115, which would happen every year at least a few times. 115 Fahrenheit, that is 46 degrees Celsius. Yeah. So everyone's like, oh, at least it's a dry heat. I'm like, get out of here. When it's 115, it is so awful regardless. There is nothing that makes it better. I would take 80s and humidity any day over 115. Pay asks, what is the new prompt? Yes, there are 3, and they'll be shared very, very soon in Summer Art Fest. I guarantee Eloa is putting a little thing up. If not now, at the end of the stream. But it is, again, we got masked, and I kept it because we also have multi-headed and warden, which is pretty darn cool. Just Lingual says, I've always lived in arid places, mostly mountains and deserts, but I do like humidity. It's a hug when you go outside. Oh, what a nice way to put that. Stifling hug. Gosh, I love how this character came out. She is really cool. almost done getting this all cleaned up too. Kind of checking her hairstyle right here, seeing if it's worth fixing the clipping error or just pushing it into the body. I think this is just going to get pushed out of the way. That's for ease of painting too. Especially because I'm kind of giving her a bit of an asymmetrical haircut here anyway. Yeah, it looks good. Awesome. All right, and then we'll check to make sure that her feet are level. Perfect. And then any mesh issues, just a couple, it's really not too bad. Excellent. All right, go ahead and remesh by union. We'll be on our way. Personally, I've always preferred really hot weather. I just do better in hot weather. I do not keep heat in. I joke that I'm a lizard. I get cold very, very easily, and I do not warm up quickly either. I'm small. Just Singles says, my car broke over the weekend because it's so hot. The cars in my area have been breaking. Fried heat means nothing at all when it's 130 degrees on the road. Oh my goodness, that's been rough. Is your wife feeling better, by the way? My goodness, a little stroke of bad luck. I mean, what do they say? It comes in threes, so hopefully you're almost done. Just one more. All right, this is a bit of chain right here. I might as well touch the mesh. I'll just scoot that over, and now it doesn't require supports. Perfect. I'm also gonna make that a little bit more substantial. Got some funny business happening here. Oh yeah, I didn't adjust that book very much. It's not really touching her hand. I kind of just threw this into place and I'm like, wait a minute. That book is floating. Cool for effect. Not very 3D printable. So here's a really cool trick that I don't get to show off on stream very often. So I want to mask just this book right here. So I could come to my mask lasso and try to do my best. Or you can bring up your 3D gizmo, click Y for the transpose line. Now hold Command. And then kind of pick where you want the mask to start. So I'm gonna click and drag this line out. And then hold Command and you can smart mask it like this. And you can readjust it by drawing this line again, and kind of picking some new areas. It's a really powerful tool. It might feel finicky. You'll get used to it. Like right now, I'm trying to see what the best way is to approach this. But yeah, just in case you didn't know that the smart masking was a feature, it is quite cool. Even if it's not really working perfectly right now, that is a-okay. You know, I really don't want to. Where are you even touching? It's like 99.9% floating. Come now. Just Single says she's tough. She'll be fine in time. Okay, good. You mentioned that last time, that she's not feeling wife's not feeling good, but she'll be okay. Good. I always hate those illnesses where it's just a really bad head cold. You just feel terrible, but you're not actually dying. You just really don't, feel your best. It's those kind of drag on the longest. Those are the ones kind of sicknesses. I always have the hardest time knowing if I should stay home from work or not. Obviously, I work from home now, so it doesn't apply. But Those are always weird because I'm like, I don't actually feel that bad, but I don't want to get anyone else sick. Tricky. Okay. Fix that little bit of nonsense, and now I can actually move that book into place. I'm glad that I caught that. It was so close to fitting too. I just remeshed a little too soon. Let's go ahead and hide these pieces just so they're not in the way. Something I've noticed with my newer students that are learning ZBrush, they get so pressed when like their character is all crooked and stuff. Soon you get comfortable in a 3D space and you just don't care. You're just like, everything is floating. All right, looking pretty good. Can use move topological to kind of scoot these fingers over. There we go. Now let's see how that looks. Looks like it's tilting back just a little too much. Let's kind of rotate it because, you know, gravity is a thing. Something more like that. It's a little precarious, but I really like the silhouette that it creates, so I'm fine with it. Also, she's magic. Gosh, I meant to read more about the subclass. They mentioned that she was a deck master, and I actually don't know very much about that. I've also never played as a wizard, so that makes sense where I'm like, don't know. Excellent. Remesh. We're good. Just think about Mia. We all float down here. Mia, probably. Alright, almost done. It looks like my little mug is letting me know I am officially out of time, but it's gonna take like 5 minutes. Bunny says, oh, a deck master, like a shift deck, but also a deck of cards. Very clever. Yeah, a lot of this requester's models have been very punny. Gosh, I adore this character. Very cute. All right, that one is complete. So is this one. Let's reduce that poly count. Technically, this skirt is partially clipping through her thigh, but it looks like an asymmetrical cut, and I love it, so I kept it. I don't want this belt just floating off into space, though. Let's kind of scoot you over, and then use my pinch brush to close up that gap. There we go. Oh, I don't know what happened to her shoe here. What are you doing? Why are you melting? Please don't melt. There. You asked nicely. On a real note, I just smoothed that error and that's what fixed that. Just in case anyone that also does 3D stuff was like, wait, what just happened there? All right, looking pretty darn good. Let's go ahead and get these exported. This pose is so cute and silly. I don't know if I have many poses that are more, I guess, modern like this. Oh, Taylor's here. Welcome in. How's everyone's morning faring? Pretty good. This is the second week of Summer Art Fest, so we reviewed all the cool submissions from last week and then got a new set of prompts. Paint says, I think it's a homebrew subclass. I think so, but I swear it's like based on something. Like, for example, I'm playing a D&D campaign. We play every Saturday. It's like Eldritch Horror, but my class is a tamer, which is pretty much just, I'm pretty much a Pokemon trainer. You know what I mean? So like it's a supplement book or whatever, so it's like homebrew-esque, but it fits in quite nicely. All right, let's make sure that these are actually fit onto the base. All right, you guys are talking about like water and whatnot, and it's funny because this is one of the few mornings I actually forgot to get water. So before we start Tavern Keeper's Craft, I'm gonna go on a very, very short 2-minute break, and I'm gonna get some water. So, good chat, pheasants. First I was like, oh goodness, she turned out a little bit too tall, and I forgot you gave her these like super tall platform heels, so never mind. We are fine. That works. Very cool. Yeah, my mod has finally changed their name to Reaper, which is what I called them anyway. So there's no duplicates anymore until we get that second Foxy that loops back in around every now and then. Alright, this is our Goth Pirate Wizard. That's a new one. This will be the casual pose. Usually if they're not attacking, I just call them casual. Makes it very easy. And then that way, eventually, when I get my website finished, which we're actually closing in the final stretch, yay, you'll be able to search either action or casual and get a bunch of poses that kind of correspond with what you're looking for. Oh, cool. Looks like we are getting references already. Fantastic. Yeah, if you guys want a little sneak peek, I've already put in the request of what the Tavern Keeper's Craft is today in our Discord. That's under the M3DM Livestream Hub. So if you just can't wait 5 minutes, then you can go look at that. Maverick is just exhausted in the background. So my pug is all black. He especially does not do well with the heat. He has just been zonked. Water check. I'm on it. I currently don't have any water at all. I forgot. But I'm gonna fix that in just a second here. Alright. Goth Pirate. Oh, it's also M3DM Monday, so I'll let you guys know when that release is done. And new models, new Monday. Alright, sweet. That character is complete. So now the only character that we have open and not finished right now from last week is the Fairy Godmother. That's it. And if you missed that model from last week, she turned out really, really cute. So I want to show her off again. There she is. Just a cutie. All right. Excellent. Reaper, what's wrong? You said Mia, angry face, and I'm not sure why. Oh, because I don't have any water? I forgot. Yeah. I'm going to fix it. Speaking of, right now, we're going to move on to Tavern Keeper's Craft, but first, I'm going to go on break because water. Okay, bye. Hello and welcome to the Tavern Keeper's Craft. So this is where I take a Patreon request and bring it to life. Everything I do here is designed to be 3D printed and for tabletop games. So let's see today's request. I have a channel for it, so you guys put references and they're already a little bit ahead. Good peasants. Some off topic, but hey, that's all part of it. All right, this is from Unicron. They said, hello, I was hoping you'd be able to make a model of a character I'm currently playing a campaign, a female centaur artificer. They wear full glimmering plate, head to hoof, with a sort of mechanical spine detail along the back. Their go-to weapons are their gauntlets, as well as a simple tube in the left arm that functions essentially as a grenade launcher. Like, okay, Metroid. Their helmet is sort of a classic armet style with a long ponytail coming out of the back and a unicorn horn on the front. Pretty awesome. So I don't actually have a classic full plate, like medieval plate. So even though this is a centaur, I would like to just work on, wow, like everything else about it though. I'd like to really just focus on the plate mail. So if we can get some, this is so cute. Oh my goodness. I love the little sling especially. Cute. And this is kind of what I was thinking, more along the same lines as well. Very cool. So yeah, lots of centaur references. Love that. Keep them coming. I'm also going to add in some full plate references. Alrighty. So full armor plate, type of medieval. Let's see what Google Images gets us. They're all pretty consistent. Good. And we're going for accuracy, but mostly aesthetics. Yeah, cool. Oh, this is perfect because they're also riding a plated horse. So it's kind of a 2-in-1. I like it. Okay. Here we go. I like references like this because I can make sure I'm grabbing all of the elements. Very cool. This is awesome. Wow. I love everything about that. Thank you, Bunny. Oh, no, that's paint. Oh, no, that was Bunny. Ha! You guys are both so quick. Oh, neat. I like this more like Fae-esque one. Cool. Also, just a note on centaurs and what makes them work. I've seen so many goofy centaurs. Okay, so if you take your hand and just cover up the half of them that is horse and just look at the front of them, right? They just look like a normal person. The proportions are totally normal. Hey, water. I do actually have water. So yeah, don't get crazy with the body proportions. It's just a normal human, but instead of feet, there are hooves. And then you put a horse on the back of it. Steve Mark says, I'm sad I missed the weekly deadline. I'll have to get it in this week. Hey, you were still featured, what you shared. So don't you worry. You were still acknowledged and celebrated. That's pretty cool. Ooh. Maybe I like this because of the colors more than anything. Oh, I love that too. So I think I'm going to take this request a bit of a different direction when I construct it, because I don't have like a lot of like full plate assets in my library. So I'd like to just create this normal human. There you go. And then make a centaur version of it after the fact. Of course it's Pinterest. Pinterest always has like aesthetic examples. Okay. Alrighty, I'm happy with what I have. But what's also really important, again, whenever you're constructing stuff that has any semblance of like historical accuracy, I recommend getting something, a reference like this that labels all the pieces. So at the end, you can just look at what you have and be like, okay, do I have gauntlets? Do I have a vambrace? Do I have a pauldron? And then you can kind of go through a checklist almost. And as far as like the volumes and how you interpret it, that's up to you, because I don't like when the pauldron is just stuck to the shoulder aesthetically, because it doesn't make for a very interesting silhouette. But I want to have a pauldron still. Excellent. There we go. List of medieval armor components. Amazing. Why has no one requested this? I love everything about this. So does Bunny. There we go. Yes, the pelvis of the human becomes the shoulders of the horse. There you go. Well put. If that's too complicated, you just keep the human and put hooves on it. That's it. And then horse. All right, I'm going to create this from scratch because, again, I really just don't think I have very many assets that are metal like this. I'm going to click on scene, get some more fun lighting in here, and then we'll get constructing. I won't need the male base mesh. So I know like a female, like a female, such a pet peeve saying that. Women's full plate, they don't just have like boob armor. I'm gonna do a nice in between because I do think it's aesthetic to some extent. You get what I'm saying? We'll see. Just Lingual says, Mia, what's the strangest thing you've searched up due to sculpting, art, or D&D? Let's see. For the most part, it's just a lot of nudity, which I know but ekes out most people. So I'm just gonna be like this, but naked. This, but naked. But as far as like actually weird, what I think is weird, probably like it usually has to do with like anything that's flayed. The references I have to find for like zombies and like any sort of like monster, like Knucklevi specifically, where it's like everything's normal, but there's no skin. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. A lot of searching for intestines. Yeah. Critelli's back. A centaur is just a human limousine. That's horrible. I hate that. Oh, goodness. Critelli says, wounds are not fun to research. If I just see them out in the wild, like on a TV show, like I get eked out, but when I'm like in art mode, I'm just thinking volumes. It doesn't really bother me. Reaper says, as an artist, you really get desensitized to the nakes. It's true. I don't even blink. Okay, what was I doing? Ah, yes. So I do have a horse base mesh, I believe. Can start. And a baby horse. Oh yeah, this is the unedited one. This is straight as ZBuilder and it has problems. So I fixed it and I didn't save the one that I kept. Yeah. Alright, the one that I saved, Baby Horse, that I also... Oh, by the way, fun thing. This is my steampunk horse. How freaking cool is that? I used this base mesh here to create this. Yeah. Alright. Woo. Does the Baby Horse have the adult version? Nope. I love when I do work and I don't save it, so I have to do it again. That's okay. Not too worried about this anyway. Oh, wow. Peak character design. It's something. Chimera Fallen, my beloved. Well, I'm glad you guys are having fun over there. Okay. Well, I'm gonna need to fix this. Man. Look at these weird little teeth. What is going on here? And listen, this base mesh is cool. ZBuilder is very cool. But these little teeth are absolutely cursed. This is not what horse teeth look like. It's okay. That's not like what the point of the tool is anyway. It's fine. Alright. We're gonna work wherever. I have a lot that needs to get done here, so. Do I have to do this? Or can I just grab... I've already done this work. Sorry, I'm like so annoyed with myself right now. Because I'm like, I have done this already. See? See? I did this. I fixed the body. I did the things. And I didn't save this body. Why? This model is so cool. By the way, this is one of my legendary models. So, if you're a legendary patron, congrats. You have that model. I also have a Druid Centaur where I made the same changes to the body. Did a really cool job with this one too. Why am I not saving this body? And if you're looking at this, you're like, oh yeah, it looks like a horse. It's the same. It's not. There were a bunch of changes made. It's okay. Is there like a simple one I have that's not ancient? No, that one's old and weird. Cool model. Cool model. But older work of mine, I can do better. Alright. I have to just do it again. Okay. That's fine. Alright, plot twist. I need references of horses, it turns out. We are doing that. Alright, these are all more animation and drawn. Very pretty, but not what I'm needing right now, which is not a problem. So I'll just type in horse profile. Woo. That looks like a horse. Yoink. Also a horse. Yoink. Alright, and we're going to fix this up, and then I'm going to keep this base mesh for myself in the future, because I'm going to do a bunch of work changing this right now. Okay. Remove that monitor. Reaper, maybe save it this time. Alright, we're fixing it. These hooves. God. Okay. I do like that the mouth is open. If I did want to do like one of those like screaming horse open mouth poses at some point. I don't think I'm worried about that right now. Oh, those eye meshes are weird. We're going to go with a solid color on the eyes. There you go. And then these weird little teeth we're going to get rid of too. So we're going to do auto groups, mirror and weld. It's not symmetrical. It wasn't. Oh, I'm really glad I noticed that now instead of later. All right, we're going to delete the funny teeth because they're really funny, really unnecessary. All right, same with this weird little tongue. Oh, it's connected to the entire palette. Then it's staying. That is goofy and weird. We do not ride centaurs here. All right, I'm gonna turn off poly paint just for now. Have like a nice simple color here and then start fixing this up. Again, it's really good. It just needs some shaping. I'm mostly going to be simplifying a lot of these shapes, so they're not quite so wrinkly. And I don't have to worry about the head too much because, again, we're creating a centaur, so this is all going to be a human later. I'm just annoyed that I don't have this horse face match already. All right. Smooth. And then some more clear definition between each of the body parts. These muscles are really weird. There's pretty much a line all the way down the center. All right, it's looking decent. These are not pointy like that. But the joints are really exaggerated on horses. They're quite weird. Another good reference point, just so you guys can kind of know, like, at a glance, you'll know something makes sense anatomically with anything four-legged. Generally speaking, like the knee and the hock are on the same plane. So right now, if I bisect that, you'll see they do not line up. Like this is way higher. It should be the same. So the question is, do I lower this or raise that? I think, yeah, no, I need to lower this. And yeah, again, there's nothing like super critically wrong with this. It just needs a little help. The neck is really lumpy. There we go. It'll also look a lot better when we have like a mane and tail. They have more of like a triangle shaped butt than you would expect. Triangle butt. All right, same thing up here. There's another joint right here, like this. This joint should line up roughly with this one. And as you can tell, again, this one's a little too low. So kind of scoot it up. And I'm also simplifying a lot of these different lines and creases. This looks great. The way that they tapered this section, perfect. This is weird. And then the hooves are just totally weird, which, to be fair, they're hard to do. And the front feet are different than the back feet. And they should be, just to be clear. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and use my mass lasso and grab this whole section and inflate it because their joints are like really intense. They pretty much have like little toothpick legs. There we go. Actually put a foot back here. And then let's go ahead and fix the bottom of the hooves as well. You just put like a little like rough V shape and then kind of scoop that out. The technical term, it's actually called the frog. Fun fact. And this is more of a concave shape. And I'm not worried about this being perfect, but when you pose them, it's pretty often that you will see the bottom of the foot. So it's nice if it's not just perfectly flat. It actually kind of looks cool. The front feet look kind of like circles. And the back feet are more spade shaped, think like a shovel. Bunny mentioned, yeah, horses' legs have very few muscles in them. It's almost all bone and tendons. And the driving power comes from the thighs, specifically the back legs. Yes. Yep. It's also why they do well in the cold and why their legs don't just fall off. Because there's not much to freeze. It's just bone. This looks really weird. That's also why their back feet are kind of more spade shaped, because they kind of like, that's where all that power is, where they kick off from. Which is funny, because when they just like stand and just hang out, they're actually really heavy on their forehand. Like when they're just standing, like 60% of their weight is like right here. Reaper says, I'd like to get good at horses so I can draw them in spirit style anytime I want. That would be awesome. They're very difficult. There's a lot going on. All right, and then this foot got all lumpy and weird. So let's go ahead and round that out. There you go. See how before it's kind of concave? I'm not saying that some hooves don't look like that, but not healthy ones. And we're making a healthy horse. And we're trying to. All right, that's good enough. This has been a very calm Chaos Monday. It's kind of nice. Just enjoying the vibes. Getting some work done. You guys having a good Monday? I know it's really hot, so everyone gets really tired. It's kind of like a drop off in summer. Everyone's just like, I am asleep. Yeah, I don't know what this muscle group is here that they had. That's not a thing. There we go. They do have these really large pectoral muscles though. As my husband mentioned, it kind of looks like a butt. Kind of does. Cool. Making lots of little changes. So again, this is where we started, roughly. This is where we are now. Again, it's not like critical failure moment. That's why I'm like, it's just a bunch of things that need to be tweaked a little bit. Excuse me. I'm laughing at my mods arguing with my husband. I guess the timeout wore off. What? All right, this has been improved, which was the goal. So I'm happy with that. I'm also gonna just change the color scheme entirely. What is that? What are those? What? I don't know what these are or why they're there. So we're gonna delete them. Cool. All right, and now for some color. Use dry rectangle and get in some darker colors. Just gonna paint this like my horse because I'm biased. He's got one white foot. The rest of him doesn't look like, this horse doesn't look anything like mine, but sure, just the colors. Sweet. And then we might as well add a mane and tail. So to do that, I'm going to use Curve Tube. Just going to click and drag a tail-ish shape, move it to the center, and then click Mirror and Weld. Now I can turn on symmetry and refine the shapes. We're not going to go very detailed here, just getting a base mesh that next time I search horse, I don't have to do this work again. Sweet. And then we'll do the same thing for the mane. I'll have this in two pieces just so it makes it easier for me. So we'll have this little forelock piece. Then we're also going to change that to continuous C. So I'll actually follow the face. Perfect. Increase resolution, just a touch there. And then now for the mane. Click and drag. Split mask point, so it's its own subtool. We'll have 4 subtools by the end of this. I'm going to inflate this quite a bit, and then we're going to mask just the bottom section of it right here. Now I can invert the mask, use 3D Gizmo, scoot it over, and bam, mane shape. Shape it up a little bit using move, and we're good. There's been a bunch of new messages. There we go. Bunny, this is just pictures of horses. A horse with mutton chops. No. Oh my gosh. I see that my husband's being silenced. There he is. Well, that was rude. 86,000 seconds. Beautiful. Yeah, I don't think Eloa has recovered yet from last Friday's stream. Eloa is so good, this community. So kind. Puts in so much time and effort. And that's how we repay them. And in case you're new or you weren't here last Friday and you're like, what are you guys talking about? Essentially last Friday we did like a fun Kickstarter launch party stream. So it was a bit sillier anyway and a little less on topic. My husband created an alternate account to terrorize one of my mods and just be like a general nuisance in the chat for like over an hour. So that's it. That's all you missed. If you did want to watch that for whatever reason, it is on my channel. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and Z-remesh this so it's a little less blobby. More intentional blob. There we go. I'll go over this later with an actual hairbrush. But for now, this is exactly what I wanted. I'm even gonna name these subtools. Doing a good job here. Wow. All right. Just Lingle says, we have to keep Eloa humble. We put Fallen Tavern God as part of their title. This is true. I still love the idea of the horse with mutton chops. That is hysterical. All right, we finally have a horse. I still want to do more work to it, but this is good enough. I'm gonna go ahead and save this into my master tools, Z animals, horse. Here we go. And then we're not gonna need this section, just the tail. So go ahead and merge this down and bring this into the body here. And that's how you make a centaur. And again, you just line up the pelvis with the shoulders of the horse. But the height should be the same still. The easiest thing that I do is I just put the hooves at the feet. Just in case you're like, what's a pelvis? What are shoulders? There you go. Now you don't have to worry about it. And then when you mask and delete part of it, I just go from right under the neck. Close holes. And there you go. In this specific instance, I'm going to keep the body of the human because I think I'm going to make a full plate of armor that I can use for later. I'll need to move this chest a little bit, but we'll do those fine details later. Sweet. All right, let's create some armor. It is time. gonna add some hair to her sooner than later so she looks a little fancier. Do I not have a ponytail in here, or have I not added it yet? I always have like a rolling asset library that I'm adding to and improving, but it's been a little bit. I wish this window would just be big enough. There we go. It's good. I'm typing ponytail and see if I have that somewhere. Nope. All this time and no high ponytail. Okay, I can fix that too. Let me go with this bun hairstyle here, and then I will mix and match these two. There we go. And the way that you bring a subtool from one tool to another, you just come down to append, and it should be right here. If it's not, it just means you don't have it selected. So jump over to your tool, make sure you have the piece selected you want to bring over, and then you're good. And this has been asked before. It's like, oh, where did you get all of these assets? I made them. So I work on a lot of different kind of characters and projects. So as I make new things, I hold on to them for future projects, because as niche as these things are, there's usually some overlap. That's why I was exasperated earlier, because I'm like, I have made so many centaurs. How have I not saved any of these? But we're doing better today. So right now I'm combining these two hairstyles I've made before to get more of a high pony. Does it look silly right now? Yes, yes it does. It's not done. So right now I'm using bend curve to get the shape here. Whenever ZBrush is auto-saving, just wait. Trust me, it is not worth clicking or trying anything else. You are just going to upset ZBrush. And I specifically wanted a high pony, but I didn't really create the bun like that. Let's see if I can just scoot this upwards. Yeah. Scoot. Kind of looks a little silly, but these meshes are going to overlap anyhow. Perfect. Again, this is kind of that early kit bashing stage, just kind of see how things are looking. She's going to have a full-faced helmet, so a lot of this hair detailing is not going to show. Otherwise, probably would just remake it from scratch. It's very dramatic. It's very tall. I'm a big fan. All right, she has hair of some sort, no? Just Lingual says, speaking of stars, Mia, if you ever need a space fact, I have a lot. Give me one of your favorites. Sager's here. Welcome in. All right, it is time to work on some full plate armor. Alrighty. I'm going to look at this main reference here. It shows all of the different components, and then start putting my own kind of more like stylistic flair on them. Okay, got a lot of choices I can make here. I'm excited. First thing we're gonna do is create this like breastplate or cuirass. Is that how you say that? I can spell it. I can't say it. It looks like it fits over the shoulders, and then there's a seam on the side here of how it actually connects. And again, I'm not worried about being like fully historically accurate or anything like that, but if things look intentional, it always makes them look a bit better. I'm gonna have it a bit shorter here because one thing I've noticed in all this full plate armor is they look positively snatched. Like they really have a defined waistline. It's actually quite flattering. So we're not going to be worried about the centaur aspect for right now. I'm going to create just full plate armor. That way I have it for later. And the way I'm constructing this, simply masking and extracting, and then really taking my time to have this all these lines nice and cleaned up. Paint says, me totally not being a geek about monster people. Totally not. Definitely not passionate or interested at all. So I've seen some of these where instead of having like just straight up boob armor, which I know how we all feel about that, but I still want to make flattering and cool and very obviously like feminine and dramatic. I think I'm gonna go with this more like a rounded chest plate here. I've read something about this, like the flex blows or whatever, but I'm mostly just going for a cool shape. I've got zero mesh and same to try to get rid of the like boob topology. So I see the before and after. This just makes it easier to work with. And then here's something that I've been trying to point out to my students more. You can really use crease to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you when used with polish by features. So right now I do polish by features. It's just kind of like smoothing it in general. That's not really the shape that I want. So I take my ZBrush brush and I crease the center line here. And then again, somewhere across the chest, and now go to polish by features. See what a stronger shape that makes? And I didn't have to do like all this manual adjusting. Yeah. So far, says Mia, have you ever sculpted a reverse centaur model? No, and please, dear God, nobody requests that. Trying not to get too pressed about exactly how this is fitting, just because I'm going to do a lot of iteration on this, I think. Okay, looking at my references. So many references, so many choices to make. Taylor says, I don't know if there actually needs to be a practical reason for boob armor. How different is it really from an armored codpiece? You have a good point. Okay, when I say like boob armor, I mean like the hemispheres tacked on. You know what I mean? Like this is great. What I'm doing right now is great. I'm not concerned about this. And then it'll have more of a rounded shape here. And I want it to be layered as well, and probably seeing some chainmail underneath. All right, I'm using my ZBrush brush and then delete some topology on the side here. I'm gonna exaggerate the gap quite a bit, just so it's really clear when 3D printed. There we go. That's gonna look really, really cool when I add like these like little belts and whatnot too. Just Single says, Mia, when we looked into deep space for the first time, Webb telescope, we saw a lot more dust than we expected. The mission was so successful that 2 of the scientists refused to publish, assuming error. No kidding! I did not know that. Oh, that's very cool. Boob armor and armored bikinis are different things. You're right, you're right. And just for the record, I love both. I just must make that clear. I've definitely played games before and be like, man, this is not the character look that I was going for. I want something ridiculous. I like having both options. That's why I like Monster Hunter so much. I feel like they do a pretty good job of having both options. And I'm especially happy the latest game in Monster Hunter where it's like both armor sets are unlocked, so you can wear like male fitting or female fitting pieces regardless of what body type you chose. And it's not even about like inclusivity or whatever. It just straight up allows for more cool silhouette options. Like, I've been really enjoying it. All right, we have a piece done, or more or less. I'm just getting these shapes done. There we go. Last one before I go take a nap. Thank you, Bunny. You've been very helpful. I hope you have a very nice nap. Okay. And then I like this little belt and then hip thing that I'm seeing. We'll see. So I'm gonna have like some sort of chainmail like leggings, it looks like. So this requester asked for a female centaur artificer, but because it's in full plate armor, and I don't really have a lot of like classic looking full plate minis at all, I'm kind of taking it as an excuse to do both. If I'm really feeling extra, I might actually pose both and it'll be an entire bonus request. Not necessarily for them, but just because I'm like, this is a cool thing to add to my asset library. I would like to use dynamic and kind of simulate that like chainmail like texture on this sooner than later. I'm just kind of blanking on how to do that. I know how. Do the thing. Come on, brain. Dynamic subdiv. Yes. There it is. Micro poly. I knew I was close. I was just like, Here we go. That looks really, really noisy, but we can fix that. One thing we can do is Z-remesh the base here to be half the density of polys. Let's do it again. And then all of this is very adjustable. You get some really cool effects here. You guys don't see me work with micropoly very often, and there's no reason for that. I think it's the coolest thing. I just don't use it very often. All right, I know this chainmail one looks quite good, and you'll notice that it's a little more stretched up here, and that's because the polys aren't as evenly laid out. If I go to adaptive size, I believe putting it to 100 or 0, either extreme, will give the most even lay of quads. So that's 100. What's 0? 0. That's what I wanted. There we go. And now turning on micropoly again. Again, I'm using dynamic subdiv with this, and you can click on this little arrow here to kind of quickly go through them. It's a really cool tool. I don't get to show it off very often. I just want some bit of texture here as I construct all this armor on top. My thought is some sort of like chainmail, but a lot of these are going to read as chainmail once they're small. All right, what was the default scale it had for this? I'm also going to turn off fit so that way it's not so stretched. Let's put this scale to 1. I feel like that should be the default. And I'll kind of zoom in on a spot here that looks a little more normal. Can rotate it on either axis. Interesting. Fit will make it so that each poly, whatever micro poly that you're using, it will fill up that entire box or the entire poly. There we go. Align really helps. I will just align that normal. So again, this is that before and after. It looks a lot nicer. Eloa, ooh, yeah, I knew you'd like this tool. And just single mentions Mia, there is more of a people fact, but one of the world's top Pluto resources uses H.S by Tom Cardy as a music track for simulations, and she always has to remove it before publication. That's beautiful. I'll be on topic now, though. No, I love facts, especially if they're sciencey or spacey. Eloa says that chest piece edge going across to create some strong planes looks good. How do? You use crease. That's all it is. Isn't that crazy? That's just a crease. So crease, then polish by features. It's a really, really powerful technique. All right, back to her pants. Not something that's going to have the most coverage. This is still too dense, honestly. So we're gonna do ZBrush in half. There we go. And that's more of just an aesthetic preference. A line seems to look the best. Let's go ahead and just grab a chainmail link of some sort. Kind of just picking a few to figure out the one that I'm gonna like the most. Even the scales look pretty cool. All right, what is going on here? Why are you tearing apart? So you can see the individual polys up here and they're starting to rip apart. When you click on fit, it will help fix those errors. Sometimes fit causes a lot of clipping issues though, so there's no like one hard rule for this. So far asked Lingual, is it true that the Mars rover sings happy birthday to itself? It is, and I don't know. I'm human. I create stories for things. I hear that and it makes me cry. I don't know. It's just a robot. It doesn't mean anything. I don't know. There's something about it that's very, very sad. But as you guys know, I cry at everything. What's new? It looks like the ones that are larger links will read best, especially for 3D printing. But this is kind of just an ongoing experiment I have going on in my head. Nope. No rotating X. Cool effect, but not for this. That's probably gonna be best for right now. It's so dense. Oh God. I want like half of this density. So you're meshing half again. Be more simple. Why so busy? I can change the scale, but when I put fit on, it makes it silly, doesn't it? Yeah, no, this is too busy. I don't like this. There we go. That's chaotic. Kind of weird. Not mad about it though. Wow, it really saves every single edit I do in my undo history, which is like, it's fine. It's a lot. I feel like last year I would never take this much time to just like experiment with a new tool on stream. I kind of just like the little things. You can see how much more comfortable I got in streaming. I'm just like, this is my show. On a real note, if you have any questions about what I'm doing, please ask. I'm just having fun right here. I feel like the scales look the best, which is hysterical because that is not plate armor. Or not plate armor, chainmail. I mean, if it's what looks best, it's what I'm going to go with. I don't know, I just like that reads really well. Okay, I'm going to leave it for now. Can I edit this mesh and it'll change the polys? Oh, that's so cool. And again, this is dynamic subdiv, so this isn't real, it's just a preview, which is really powerful and really cool. It's a good day to be working in ZBrush. Okay, moving on. That was fun. Oh, that's neat. Why is it? You guys saw that, right? why, okay, I don't know why I did that, but when I questioned it, it fixed itself. Like, anyway, we're gonna go with a bluish gray color for the armor because, yeah, that's armor color. And let's keep on working. Start layering things up. Wow, this gnat, I really would like to kill it. Okay, where did you go? It's gone. Okay. So some of these have like this flared little piece called a folds. I might create that. Hey, Taka's here. Welcome in. Aw, Sater says every day is a good day. We get to spend it with you, Mia. Oh, cheesy. Someone mute him. No, I'm just kidding. Can you imagine? All right, we're gonna go ahead and delete this mesh here. So every now and then when I'm working on more complex pieces that are a little more intentional, I like to duplicate the body and then get rid of all the poly paint, all the subdivision levels, just so I can create from it. Kind of like a construction body, if that makes sense. So right now I'm actually going to create a little belt. Oh, it's really jarring looking. There we go. I'm gonna create a belt underneath here, and my curve brush is absolutely not working. Come on, don't be so shy. Why are you being so weird? All right, so there we go. To my students, like the curve brush, it just gets a little shy. Just don't be impatient with it. Just keep working with it. Sometimes it just needs patience. There we go. And then me creating like little belts and buckles, what holds all this together, but not quite yet. All right, back to this base body here. I'll even just label it base in all caps, which is nice because I can select it, but you can't really see it, and I can still create from it. Hey, Chicken's back. Welcome back, Chicken. Just Single says, for my wife's birthday last year, I turned a meteorite with traces of gold into a D20 dice. Then we printed and painted a dragon to guard it. That is pretty epic. I know I've said this before, but it bears repeating. You and your wife sound really cool. Like, I love all my peasants, but I mean, come on. That's awesome. That's pretty intense. All right, and we just keep on keeping on. That's why I went into this today. My goal today is just to create this plate armor. I'm not worried about getting this pose ready or anything like that. Just one thing at a time. Every single piece I'm creating here is going to be part of my asset library. So all the more reason to really take my time. Make it look nice. I really need some more edges on this. These ended up being a little lower cut than I wanted. So I'm gonna turn off dynamic. I'm gonna try this technique that see if I remember it. If I hold my pen over this edge right here and hold spacebar, I can click extrude, and then I believe it's edge loop. There we go. Bam, more polys, just like that. I don't do this technique on stream very often. Although if you didn't see that, pay attention. Extrude poly loops on single-sided. Isn't that cool? And I can go back to dynamic subdiv, turn it on, and there you go. Like nothing happened. I just have to click align again to fix it. And we're good. It always sounds like I'm being Eloa in trouble. I'm like, Eloa, pay attention. Hey, hello. So I want this to be more of a rounded shape here. There we go. And more of a flare, more drama. Cool. No, that looks weird. Also, the scale is the first one. Oh, it's neat. No, we're just gonna do chainmail. I don't care if it looks noisier. It's the way to go. All right, that's good enough for now. On to the next piece. All right, next I'm going to be creating the hip pieces, which in the specific reference I grabbed, there's not a name for it, it's just above the greaves. Oh, instead of curious, it's cusis. I've never seen that word in my life. Okay, sounds good. So it looks like, you know, I watched a video on this recently, actually. Note with like different styles here. Like initially they had like little tassets that would sit on the side, and then they changed that to this other one that kind of layered up underneath the fold. Interesting, interesting. I'm gonna go with more of the tasset look because I think it's neat and it's going to suit this centaur we're creating a lot more. And instead of creating the different layers, we're gonna make it just one solid piece, and then we will extrude little edge loops to kind of like make it look like it was constructed like it's layered, but it's not actually. That doesn't really fit with this piece that I created then. Sure it can. I'll figure it out. And this kind of fits more along the front. More like that. Yeah. Okay. Even though I'm creating this on a female base mesh, this armor is going to be pretty androgynous. Androgynous. Alright, so I want this edge to stay kind of squared off, and I'm not even certain how I'm going to achieve that. So I'm going to instead just try to crease the edge and see if that does what I want it to. Sweet, kind of like that. And then I'm going to use the move brush to make it even more angled. I do have this ugly triangle here. You're not what I wanted. Yeah, see, I don't. Okay, I have an edge I do like though, so instead of fixing that, I don't know how else to fix it. I'm just going to delete this. Bam. There's the quads I wanted. And then polish my features. I'll need to also crease this edge here to see if I can get this kind of like squared off look. Interesting. What if I crease just these edges right here? Will it preserve that triangle? Or not triangle. No, like deleted it. What the heck? There are polys here, and then I polish the features and it's like, no there's not. That's, nobody wants. I want to crease the point right there. Is that even a thing? Let's find out. Crease, point. It sure is. Is it going to work? We're gonna find out. No. I'm trying to use a similar technique that I use across the breastplate, but here, it doesn't work. Sad. That's okay. Something else I can try is creasing these edge loops on the side and letting them get a little bit crushed. There we go. How does that affect the shape? Okay, so it is creating that corner that I wanted. I have this other bevel, which, though it looks very nice, it's not really something I'm creating intentionally. But I'm mostly just trying to keep this squared off shape without having to do any manual adjustments, because when you have like ZBrush polish it for you, it's always going to create a nicer, smoother result. Either way, I still am ending up with results that I quite like. Happy little accident triangles. Accurate. Chicken says, I find creating props clothes one of the hardest things to do for now when I'm not the sculpting part. But what would look good on the sculpt exactly? Are you asking a question or are you just commenting? Because I feel like that I could have read that either way. Also, creating assets and props, that's all I do. I think it's a lot of fun. So when you're creating armor, the silhouette line is the most important. So like this line right here. Is it curved? Is it straight? Is it concave? Probably shouldn't be concave. Just really pay close attention to all these details. We press, go to work. Have a nice stream. Thanks for being here. Have a good day at work. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and bend the, well, I can bend this, or perhaps I can just do mirror and weld. Will that save me some time? Yes, it will. Amazing. It also ended up with this pretty harsh seam here. I kind of like it, I kind of don't. It's kind of both. I'm being very picky with this creation here. Normally you guys, a lot of you guys have seen me work before. I usually don't take nearly as long on each piece, but because these are going to my asset library, spending the time on each silhouette line is really important. All right, it's a good start. Let's keep on going. The fact that I went through and made this more dense is extremely funny to me because I was specifically not liking that earlier. Also, this needs to be a darker color. Seeing her like skin poke through the chainmail is weirding me out. There you go. It would look more like that. Single mentioned that concave armor does exist, but because the purpose is to drive the weapon to a specific point, it's rare as you seldom want that point anywhere on your body. That makes a lot of sense. And we're continuing. I wonder if anyone has figured out yet that I'm going to have to model shoes today. I've purposely not talked about it. On to the next part. We're now making these pauldrons, and I'm really paying a lot of close attention to my references on like how they fit onto the body. Like these wrap almost entirely around the arm. So when I mask, I'm actually going to create it almost like it's like a sleeve, and then I'll come through with my mask pen, invert the mask, and just create this little gap right here because they curve to the body so much. And then the traditional full plate that I'm seeing here seems to fit to the body really closely. I'm not a huge fan of that personally, and we're not going for like pure accuracy, so I'm going to take some creative liberties as I work on this. I'm also going to shorten this so it's not actually so close to half sleeve. Usually I inflate it, but that's actually not this time. Not this time. I'm going to do zero mesh in half, shorten it up like I did before. And then now I actually like that this grabs onto her, what is this? Arm, bicep. Because like this is your forearm, like what is this called? I don't know, upper arm. Anyway, I like how closely that fits. It's really just the shoulder that I want to come off and have a different shape. So I'm debating whether or not I just make that a separate piece. Yes, yes I will. Again, that's why I'm taking a whole day to do this full plate armor, because I knew there was going to be 1,000,001 pieces. All right, leaving that as it is. I like that. I can then take this and further layer it up. Cool. These are nice even polys. Beautiful. Now I'm going to duplicate this piece, mask just the top of it. I'm actually going to subdivide once so I can get a smoother mask. There we go. Mask just the top of it. Polish by features, get rid of that really nasty edge there. And now inflate this piece to kind of create that secondary layering. This is where, again, I'm taking more artistic liberties on full plate. It very much so is full plate still, but again, I'm not really going for any particular time period. I'm just kind of mix and matching with what, it's really cool. Which is pretty much how I always design. Cool. Hey, Monkey's here. Greetings. All right, up next, we're gonna have the gauntlets and then the vambrace. Okay. And they usually have these really ornate elbow pieces too. There's just a million pieces. How long does it take people to put on full plate armor? Oh my goodness. I feel like you need like a whole team to help you put this on. All right, so we're gonna leave the elbow alone for the most part because again, that part has to be able to bend. So the main armor piece will be on the outside and the inside will be more of this mesh here and some belts. So for now, this piece. Moving right along. I'm not even worried about these being too detailed or ornate. I want to have this base mesh really nice and simple that I can then iterate from. All right, let's go to auto groups this so I can remove all the fingernail mesh and then mirror and weld to bring that back. I'm also going to inflate this quite a bit. That way these fingers don't get too spindly. There we go. And now zero mesh and same. Because we don't want that definition around the knuckles. I could spend a whole day just detailing the gauntlets and like all the little joints and how that these would work. But we're gonna go for a simpler approach just for now. Let me use Move Topological to fit these into place. Again, hands are almost as sensitive as faces. They'll look very, very odd and blobby if you don't take your time. All right, we now have that section there. This actually fits over the vambrace. So we're gonna mask just this bottom part here and then inflate it. There we go. The shape is a bit odd. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be a lot of zero meshing and moving. Monkey says, you don't have to spend all that time having your squire help you get dressed if you just sleep in your armor. I mean, I think of like D&D roles. I'm like, you would get a penalty to your rest, but yes. Just Single says, it takes 10 to 20 minutes to put this on. With help, 30 minutes to 45 minutes to put on full plate armor alone. Why do you know this? I love that. Tournament armor took longer because it was fancy. Battlefield was a little shorter because, well, battle. That makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna make these look awesome, but for now I just need to get all the pieces in place. Right now they look like fat gloves. It's not what I'm wanting at all. Where's the cool? All right, I'm gonna put a crease right here and then polish by features. So this is before, it's the after. Again, when in doubt, polish by features. It's gonna give you a better result than what you could manage by manually squishing stuff around over and over and over again. And there's no structure to her hands right now, so they look like little worms. Need to, but it's at a good point. The shape is recognizable. It is, in fact, a hand. Going over this with a crease brush to kind of build up these joints is gonna look really nice, but I understand that this is a very nuanced piece, so we're gonna leave that alone for now. Just glove hand. Now we're gonna make that cool elbow piece I was talking about earlier. All right, for this, it's actually quite similar to how I would make a knee bracer piece. The name is absolutely eluding me. But yes, mask. And then ZBrush and half. Hey, Madcrafter is back. Welcome back. Fancy armor in medieval times would be equivalent to like $300,000 these days. No kidding. Also, I just love that you guys know this. Why do you guys have answers for these questions? Beautiful. Monkey says, penalty. No. DM, you don't want to start power gaming. I'll punish you. So let me sleep my plate. Let's move on. Or how about this? Stop ambushing me at 5 a.m. But torturing your players a little bit. I mean, it totally depends on what kind of game you want to play. I like playing really gritty, realistic games with problems and lots of punishment. So, yes. In the Elder Torah campaign, I'm not DMing, but I'm a player, and there are armor penalties if you sleep in it. Or so, sleep penalties if you sleep in your armor, better said. But I got around that by being a mannequin. I am my armor. So, yeah. Just don't sleep in unprotected spaces. There you go. I'm going to add some more belts here. I'm going to use my curved strap snap and put this just above the elbow. Come on, curve. Make a nice curve. Not a whatever that is curve. Like, there we go. Great. That's all I wanted. It's coming together. Doing the things. Sater says, people think that full suits of plate armor were a lot more common than they actually were. I mean, no, they're really expensive. Sater mentioned that natural armor plus dex is the way to go with 5e. That's true, but sometimes I just like cool things, even if it's not practical. Alright, so we have the same kind of knee armor here as well. Oh goodness, this character is going to take a long time in the best way. Just because I decided to make this like a full-blown project too. I didn't have to go this hard with it. I definitely have enough pieces where I could have got this done today. But it was time to come up with some cooler armor pieces. Okay, Eloa, are you seeing this? It's Eloa attention time again. So like I made like a little mask for this knee piece, and I put a crease vertical and horizontal. So 1, 2, and then polish my features. Bam. Knee shape. So yeah, it's a really, really powerful tool. Obviously the shape isn't done, but it's very cool. And you can like further refine that, add more creases to get it even nicer looking. And Sater says, Mia, what do you mean? I assume you're Warforged? Yes? Yeah, I play as a mannequin. So it's a construct. Just Single says, but if I sleep in protected spaces, then how do I get free wolf pelts? I can't be ambushed by wolves in a bastion. I mean, you could do that, like, not asleep. You can, like, make a separate trip for that. Like, but what about my problems? Oh, goodness. I'm a little confused by this specific piece of armor. It just seems to be a big tube. You know what? It's actually quite similar to the Curious. It looks like it is a front and a back piece, and then it just, like, there's a little strap on the sides. Sure. More construction looks like more construction. I like it. Are these pieces touching? I don't want them to be touching. Is that a hole? See, no. See, that's not what I wanted. Let's try that again. We're actually going to subdivide. So that way. There we go. Sometimes if the mesh you're trying to mask from is too low poly, you'll get problems like that when you extrude your mask or extract your mask. It's just kind of like blurs together. You don't want that. So now, is that a nice line? That's a good line. I think the back of this was just open usually, actually. All I know is that the front piece here is the shape that I want. I will deal with the other side when I get there. That looks really weird. We're gonna fix it. Matt Crafter says, is there a way to apply surface detail like chainmail without UVs? Yeah, you don't have to have UVs. This doesn't have UVs. I mean, you should use UVs to control where your seams go. But yeah, this is just using dynamic subdiv and micropoly. So here we go. Here's dynamic. So it's not real. It's just a preview. I turn on dynamic right here and then click on any of these things are default in ZBrush. I think you can create your own, but I'm not sure how to do that. And there you go. You can pick this one. If you don't want it to be chainmail, you can make it buttons, for example. Woo. And you can change the scale of it. You can really get some fun effects here. But yes, UVs will give you the best, maybe not the best result, but you'll have the most control over your results. That's a better way to put it. All right, we're also going to use that trick again, where we are using a lot of creases. So crease, edge loop. There we go. A straight line right here. And then when I polish my features, you can see that crease stays there, but I'm not really using it for the detail of the crease. I'm really doing that so I get a better shape. Does that make sense? When you ZBrush, it's going to destroy that, which is fine. I'm just trying to find a nice shape. Yeah, there you go. Things are happening. Madcrafter says, awesome, thanks. You're very welcome. And yes, they are adding the ZModeler brush to ZBrush for iPad in the 2025 update. You were correct. Okay, can someone figure out what is going on in the back of these? Like, is this? None of my references show the back of their legs. What happens? I just see the front of their legs. I mean, I guess their whole leg was just like in a tube. And then they just had belts right here. I did not make this piece correctly. I'm now realizing that. Never mind. No one needs to look that up. I now see what I did wrong. Like what I was creating was an option, but it's really not what I was wanting. So instead, I'm now realizing that your shins, in fact, do not bend. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, these need to bend. They need to have a seam. No, they don't. Really easy to fix. Or not fix, but I guess just recreate. So I'm going to just mask the whole thing, zero mesh by half. Then I don't have to deal with so many extra belts. Yeah, I was wondering, I'm like, what am I doing? And I don't want these getting too chunky. Get out of the way. You're just there for filler. Same trick I did before though with the crease brush. Nope, we are not creating topology. Thank you. Just a crease. Thank you. There we go. This is gonna look really cool when she has shoes. And then that will fit underneath the knee thing. That's also going to look really cool when it's done. And then Paint mentioned, yes, a lot of limb armor really is mainly tube shaped, Mia. You're correct. Madcrafter mentions they use ZBrush for iPad, and ZModeler is a game changer. Although I get to 16 million polys and ZBrush crashes a lot. What are you doing that high poly? That is crazy. My entire cherry blossom dragon, at the most when I was sculpting it, maybe got to 10. Monkey said, your shin can bend if you try a little harder. Might need the aid of a crowbar though. You guys are fun. I don't know why Paint saying that most of this limb armor is tube shape was so helpful in my head. I'm like, ah, yes. That's making a lot of sense. Okay, what curve is it trying to do here? Stop. Just crease. It's like inserting a curve brush. I don't even know how I'm doing that right now. Anyway. Alright, I don't like that curve at the top there. Oh, okay, it was already curved in a way that I didn't like. That's fine. Do not. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, where it's like there's a strap that goes on the back of it or whatever. But yeah. But even then, because like in order to make it so you can put it on, obviously it doesn't slide on like a sock. But even then, there's no reason to create two separate pieces. I should just delete a seam. Yeah. Yeah. You were correct. And also at the end of the day, this is a fantasy mini. If someone looks at this and it's like, how would she put that armor on? I'd be like, go back to your hole. We're having fun here. I do want this to have a little more of a dramatic edge. Oh my goodness. This is like, well, I'm making a shoe. That's why I'm hating this. I'm like, why is this so difficult? I'm like, that's why. It all makes sense now. I hate sculpting shoes, just for anyone that's just like, what? That made no sense. I don't hate sculpting shoes. They're very sensitive. It's like, why won't you just look good? And it like screams at me. That's what it feels like, sculpting shoes. But to be fair, I used to hate posing too. Now I love doing that. Posing creatures especially used to take me forever. This is so finicky. Stop being so finicky. You know what? Be finicky. I'm not going to fix you. On to the shoes. So the shoes are kind of like this little metal sock thing. Oh, I really hate how much your calf is just out of your leg. Okay, there we go. So we'll go onto this base mesh here. And we're going to mask a bunch of different sections that will slowly form a shoe shape. The most important part is the front of it though. So we'll create that shape first. So here's the shape. Obviously it looks very silly. That's okay. Because there's toes and whatnot. So we'll get rid of the toes. No toes. And I'm actually going to close holes in, wow, ZBrush crashed. I wasn't even clicking anything. So maybe I don't hate shoes. ZBrush hates shoes. I literally was not clicking at all. I was just looking at it and it crashed. Okay. God. Mia, start with the sole of the shoe shape and then build up. No, I know how to build shoes. These do not have soles. These go on top. These are really weird. Okay, let's do that again. I know how to build shoes. ZBrush crashes. It's like, no, you don't. All right, let's try again. Sweet, I actually didn't lose any progress. Wow. Okay, ZBrush, not bad. All right, I would like if these were single-sided, so I'm going to mask a little spot right here. Actually, we're gonna divide once. A little spot right here. And I'm gonna create it so it's like a little shell. If you're like, that's odd, why? When it's single-sided, it's just easier to deal with. Less polys, less problems. All right, we now have these weird little foot nub thing. We're going to expand that shape and start to fit it to her foot. Because again, we are really creating like this, they're really sharp armored. They're not normal shoes. They really just sit on top because obviously, you know, your foot bends a lot. It's really cool looking at them though, because you can kind of see like the structure of the foot too, because there's going to be like this toe piece, another piece for the arch, and then around the ankle. Monkey says, shoes are like these little metal sock thing. Yes, exactly, Monkey. And Chris says, quoting ZBrush, I don't like the way you're looking at me. Yeah, no kidding. It's just like, gone. Yeah, here we go. It is like a little metal sock. Like, see? Thank you, Sater. Like, am I wrong? Some of these are very literal on like the metal sock. Also, what is going on here? A lot of these have that weird, like, really angled point. I like it. It's like angry elf. They're called sabatons. You knew I was going to ask and be like, what is this? Shoe time. Making a shoe. If I sing it like a song, I have more fun, I think. All right, that crease brush technique has been really helpful, so we're gonna keep doing that. Kind of prevents the whole thing from falling apart. Crease, edge look complete. And if anyone's wondering why I like chronically like click solo, I don't know. I just like when there's only one thing on the screen. It's a habit I'm trying to break because it makes my streams really confusing. When there's just this and someone tunes in, they're like, what is going on? I'm like, I'm sorry, that's just how my brain works. I'm working on it though. because I realized this makes more sense. All right, what about that? Is that gonna be a good shape? No. What if I did 2? Yeah, okay. That's kind of the shape I wanted. Kind of. Yes. And then this little section will point up. Scoot that back. Someone new is here. Hello, hello. Fungal. I usually model high poly, like 90% quality, before the ZBrush stage. Oh, interesting. You do ZBrush as your last stage? I think most people's workflow that I'm familiar with is they will retopo last, you know? ZModeler is goated, absolutely. It is metal sock time. Also, Eloa, you are correct. For like 99.9% of shoes, I would have just started with the sole. All right, we got weird little metal sock things. They're falling off her feet. Come here. Like if her calves could stop falling out of these metal not braces, greaves, that would be great. Coming together just fine. All right, more layers. We're gonna go to this base mesh. There it is. And start creating these little layers. So this layering section, you can really just create with the ZModeler brush. I'm gonna just create it as one piece here. So mask, extract, accept, and then Z-remesh. Gets me nice and clean and smooth. Monkey says, ooh, we need a full plate flip-flop for the beachy beach. Bringing in those summer vibes. I like it. Hot girl summer. In full plate armor. Sweet. And these are interesting because they don't really have much of like a heel on them. It really is just like a complete flat base here, which is odd and not very appealing. So I'm going to do a combination of sorts. I'm going to create this heel section now. Again, going back to the base. Don't get too finicky with each one of your shapes until you have all of your pieces. Does that make sense? Empress says, watching me do this makes me dread the clothing stage a bit. Oh no! Is it because it looks slow and tedious? It's usually not this slow. Like, it's really not this slow. This is just full plate armor. This is what it looks like. Because it's a combination of like organic shapes that are going to be hard surface. It's very odd. Because if you feel that way, I have a video on how to sculpt a dress in like 15 minutes, and it's super fun and super easy. Again, what are you doing up there? Don't dread this. It's fun. Like, I'm having fun. Can't you tell? Hit her with the dress assignment. I think she's already done it too. Just kind of surprises me. Empress, you've watched enough streams to know that this is not normal workflow. No dreading. This is just full plate armor, which is special and has special needs. Metal sock thing. More shoes. Yep, it's about what they're looking like. I think mine look a little fancier. Like, I don't like that. Is it accurate? Sure. Yeah. It's not cute. I do like the little dramatic points though. I'm not going to create them like this or whatever the reference was. Something more along these lines. Okay, they also have a really cool secondary shape that I want. How do I do that? All right, we're gonna mask this into 2 separate pieces and create this other cool, weird, fun thing that's happening. First, I'm going to pinch the edges of this so it has a nice taper, and then I'll have more room to create this next layering shape, this shape here. It's really not gonna sit on top of it too much, but it just has a really cool, dramatic curve shape. Yeah, that's neat. Our calves are killing me. Wow, they really just do not want to stay in. Be contained. All right. I'm like, oh my God, a secondary form, bless. Something that's not just a tube. I'm using the Mahler brush to help me clean this up. Ooh, ugly. I just want a curve on the front, please. You're being really interesting about that. We're gonna isolate you to just one, and then we're gonna do a mirror and weld across the x-axis because you don't need to behave like that. There we go. There we go. That's a nicer shape. I was like, ew, what are you doing? ZBrush is like, I don't know. Just trying things out. And like seriously, whenever you're working on shapes like this, sometimes I really do find it easier to not have symmetry turned on and just be able to play with these shapes. Empress says, more because I'm still stumbling in the program and I get really easily frustrated. Dress assignment? Question mark. Empress, you said you were ready for project work. You knew it was gonna be frustrating and scary. Now I'm worried for you. I'm gonna send you the dress assignment. I'm 90% sure that you already did it. It's on my YouTube channel. ZBrush, what are you doing? ZBrush. And yeah, Empress, you can think of this as kind of like a little detour practice, since sounds like you're not as zesty and confident as you were when we first started the project idea, which is a-okay. This is going to be a study that's called fabric folds, but really I just want you to follow the dress video and then make that. There you go. The calves do demand freedom, it seems like. God. There we go. All is well. Interesting shapes are shaping. Not quickly, dear God. Nah, they're fine. I'm just used to working so quickly that it feels slow today. I realize this is pretty normal. I know it's unfair if I call this slow. It only took me like about an hour to get all this blocked out. Being very particular. If I call that slow, then I know my students are gonna be like sad, and I don't want that. Can we keep some volume too? Or do you have to just like destroy yourself? Okay, that's okay. I don't think you have to do that shape. Armor shoes are just an armadillo shell in the shape of a shoe. It's true. And God, this is so accurate. ZBrush, what are you doing? Ooh, that's a good reference. I do like that. That's more similar to what I'm making. Eloa says, any slow stream is just more student content. You're right. I just want to do this like chaotically and quickly, but I understand that that's... What are those? What? Sorry. Every now and then, ZBrush are just like, panic. There's just no reason to act like that. ZBrush, you're okay. Nope. All right, so ZBrush is blowing up. There's 2 things you can do. One, if you do polish by features, it does kind of help, and then ZBrush by same. Another thing that you could do is group loops, but it fixed itself before I really had to break out the big guns. Okay. I scared it. Okay, so yeah, Paint mentioned also the calf armor is normally just one piece, but style is style. Yeah, no, it is one piece. This is just, I don't want to sculpt on this. Okay, this is actually a really important point. Let me get my braining. Okay, so when you were constructing stuff or assets in ZBrush, just because like, okay, for example, this piece would be one piece in real life, right? Sometimes it's very, very hard to sculpt. That's like sculpting the hair is one blob and not letting yourself use any more subtools. Does that make sense? Do not do that to yourself. Do not torture yourself like that. The amount of subtools does not need to reflect how many pieces you use. Does that make sense? It's very, very, very important. The one piece, it's real. Like these are very much so going to be welded on together. I'm just using this to have more control over the seam, and it is like a stylistic layering and flare. Yeah, 100% makes sense. Cool. I knew you'd get that. I'm glad that you guys know that I'm never actually you. I'm always like, oh, cool. No, this is like a good tool to keep in mind. Because I see that a lot, specifically with hair. I have my students where they will just insist on creating the hair as one piece. And I'm like, that's really difficult. You should not make that so difficult on yourself. Why don't you use more subtools? It seems to always blow their mind. And then the next question is always, well, how do I know how many subtools is too many? And in the beginning, I'm like, there's never too many. You'll know when you use too many subtools. That's a great question though. Or I guess just discussion. All right, I finally figured out how to use crease in a way that made sense here, and I'm feeling quite happy about it. Again, I'm kind of using crease in a non-traditional way to maintain these volumes. I say non-traditional, I'm certain a bunch of other artists use this exact same technique. And if they don't, well, they should. This has been quite helpful. Okay, her calves are so gigantic, it's causing problems. Like muscly up here. I'm like, okay, stop. Cannot be contained. Like you're ruining my silhouette lines. I'm trying to do a thing here. All right, that's looking cool. We're doing the thing. Hey, the M3DM Monday is out. Awesome, awesome. Why is Ricky a ranch company? Don't worry about it. Instead, let's look at the new release. Awesome. It is M3DM Monday, which means more models for you. Go check them out. And then here is that link for y'all to enjoy. That giant snake, I finished it off stream. I know, sad. So you guys didn't get to see that finished. But you can see the finished 3D model and 3D print here. So again, that is linked in the chat if you want to check it out. Also, it's right here. So these are all 3D prints. The smallest one is that's how big these bases are, about 1 inch on the bottom. Yeah, let's check these out. So there's a snake. I have 2 different sizes because each is cool. One of these is 25mm, one's 50mm. I don't do that very often, but in this case, it was just too cool not to. So there's a small version with a normal size D20. That's a 1 inch size base. And then here's that 2 inch base. He was just so cool not to. And this is why people ask me like, oh, like how many, like what scale is this for? And I'm like, you can rescale it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You can literally print it as big or as small as you like. Very cool. Great prints too. You can tell that the detail is a little crisper on the big one. Honestly, no, it looks great on both. Neat. And then here's that little hellhound puppy. He is very small. He is half the size of a T20. There's our goat man. I think he was paint. I said, oh no, he's hot. Yeah. And then our gunslinger. I love these poses. She turned out really cool. I don't normally do 3 poses, but again, this is just such a cool model that it made sense to have 3. And yeah, that is today's Monday release. Just Single says, Mia, how much do we slow down your workflow? Like, honestly, I would say around 20% at least. On a bad day, 50. It makes me half as fast, but that's totally fine. I'm not going to work at max speed all the time, even when I'm not streaming, if that makes sense. Printing toddler size right now. Be right back. More like be back in 4 days. But yeah. Holy snake. Isn't he cool? But will the details show up? Oh god, Monkey, I love that you typed it like that too, because that's always how I read that. You know, I need to start just having those two snakes side by side, because one's twice the size and they look almost equally detailed. That's a good one. I like you. Also, a happier, slower workflow is more sustainable than a fast and burned out one. Well put, Eloa. Now that I am sculpting this armor though, I know I'm doing this wrong. You know what I mean? Like, this workflow is working, but I think it would have been better if I just sculpted it like dirty and then re-topoed it. I never do that. That's a really weird workflow that I think would work in this specific instance. You know, like when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. It's one of those moments. Again, it's not taking that long. I'm thinking about it though. Okay. Not worried about it at this moment. Moving on. Look at all these freaking subtools. Woof. And yeah, Empress, do not be afraid. This is not normal. This is just full plate mail. This is why I dedicated an entire day to it, because I knew. I was like, okay, you are going to be a pain in the best way. I'm also constructing this in like a really clean, simple way, just so it's easiest, oh, there's a horse there. That's right, it's gonna be a centaur. Anyway, so it's easier for me to like iterate more versions of plate mail. So I want it to be really, really clean and simple shapes. Come on. There you go. My favorite moment of the day still is me trying to sculpt the shoe and ZBrush crashing. I was literally not clicking. My hands were up in the air. Nothing was happening. No operation was happening. And it was just like, I'm done. Paint says, slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Excuse me, you're not wrong. Ooh, Mia, do we have any ideas for Z-sketch moments in this one? No. Yeah, probably not, but I have to ask. Yeah, no, I don't think so. It is cool, though. Satyr, wait, is this a centaur character? Yes, it is. I'm just creating full plate mail because I don't have any. They're making assets for the future, at least, I think. Yes, in part. Okay, Just Single says, Mia, if you were a multi-billionaire, what would be your first big purchase? Second, would you outfit all of the peasants with plate mail? I would buy a lot of dirt, as you guys already know. And then I honestly would go on like a little hiring spree. I already have a lot of people in my life that are very talented that I've always wanted to like make my employees. That doesn't sound very sexy. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I have like this like creative corporation idea. And if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't have to worry about being sustainable. I could just do that, and that'd be really cool. And then, yeah, everyone that was part of that creative corporation, that's totally an oxymoron, would have to be required to wear full plate mail. Yeah. Yeah. Good question. Satyr, I volunteer to work paid for multi-billionaire. Absolutely. And then Paint tagged me and say Hightail got canceled. I have no idea what that is. A growth mindset. Respect. Yeah. Empire. I know like a lot of people's answer is like, oh, they've never worked in a day in their life. And I'm like, but then what would I do all day? Yeah. Sater says, if you're paying for it, I will happily wear it. Consider it done in this alternate reality. Sater says, I can only imagine how much a suited plate would cost for my big ass. Self-roast. I love it. All right, we're gonna call this Centaur Artificer. I'm just giving myself the week to finish this. This is kind of being an ongoing thing. I am already quite certain, like I'm happy with the way that I blocked this out. And again, what do I always say? Details get all the credit. It's like, it took you an hour to make this? I'm like, yes, because all of the lines are perfect, essentially, and super, super clean. So to come from this shape here and, like, for example, make this look layered, it takes nothing. So I could take this, control drag, use my move brush, and then bam, I now have layered hip tassets. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, very powerful when you create this way and this slowly. It's just not very sexy or exciting, which is fine. Some days be like that. Would you give Spartan armor? He is not very brave. I think he would run through a fence if I put him in full plate armor. Love him, but like, I cannot believe we rode these things into war. I imagined it was a bit of a shit show. I'm also now realizing that my curved strap snap brush was reacting so poorly because I had it on continuous Z and not 1C. Just realized that. It's fine. And she won't just be like naked, okay? This is just where we're at right now. I have not given her like a chainmail shirt yet. Yeah, I'm gonna look up even more references of armor that like I really love. I have all the basics here. Let's see, except for the helmet. Woof, I forgot that she has to have a helmet on. Oh, God, helmets are so difficult. Helmets are even worse than shoes, honestly. Because again, you got like those facial elements. It's that sensitive. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just block out some sort of helmet goodness. Because I've already shown a pretty good amount of basics here of how to get these shapes. So let's keep going. All right, so it's gonna have like the classic like back piece and then, you know, visor thing. So you mask the first shape, extract. If it has ears, make sure it doesn't. And then you can zero mesh by half a bunch of times. And Sater mentioned war horses had to be trained from birth. They were more expensive than armor. I believe that, but at the end of the day, a horse is a horse. And man, they're not brave suckers, but they're very cool. But they're also very good at living. So spooky, spooky, spooky. All right. This is going to be easier than I thought. Oh. Eloa, I can't wait for you to have more of these moments where you think like you know what you think is like hard to sculpt and what's not hard to sculpt. And then like one day you're going to go sculpt that thing and you're going to be like, oh, this isn't hard for me anymore. Oh, cool. So for this, I'm actually going to to create the front plate or the visor thing, I'm just going to hit Command-Shift-D. That'll duplicate this whole piece. I'm going to mask just the top of it, polygroup it, delete what's not showing anymore, and then rotate. Because it already has like the curve that I want. So why create it again when I can already see the shape that I want is here. And because obviously she needs a little spot where she can see, I'm not worried about that for right now. It's a lot easier to just create it this way and then put that little slit at the end. It does look really funny though, like she definitely cannot see. Eloa says, I'm still traumatized for how my recent project looked, or clothing looked after block out. Yeah. I almost fell to my knees when I zoomed out and looked like a kid that glued cardboard to themselves. That's how I feel right now. I get you. Yeah, Seder has a great point here. Proportions are always a problem with helmets. If you're big enough to encapsulate the head, but small enough to look not ridiculous. Yeah, I usually just make them, like my character is bald, essentially, underneath. So I'll just take this and just like, and then any of the hair, I just smush. That seems to work pretty well. It's a good point, though. That's a good point, though. It sounds like saying, oh, this and this, but no, I mean like that's a good point, period. Anyway. All right, they have like these little ring things. Hinge, pivot, point. I'm just gonna stick these little orbs on the side here to remind myself to create that at some point. And that gets tucked in. Cool, that's gonna be more flat. And then similar to before, I can use my crease brush. There you go. See? Before, after. There are ways to make ZBrush do the work for you. Sometimes I spend so much time figuring out how to make ZBrush work for me that it's frustrating because like I could have brute forced it faster at that point. It's always worth figuring out how to use your program though. I know it sounds obvious. It's not always obvious. Take the time to do it smart instead of stupid. Because you're going to run into a similar problem in the future and you're going to be like, man, I really wish that I had figured out the right way to do this earlier. These little orbs look ridiculous. I'm going to make them look a little bit better. There we go. So it's okay, Mia, let's be real. We both know we're talking more to the peasants than to each other when we talk about stuff like this. It's true. This is true. Speaking of, bigger shoulders. Yeah. Alright, I'll need more references about this visor from the front. I forgot to like drop this line here, and there's a taper and so on and forth whence. Oh, that's a really good side reference. Okay. Hello. This is the reference that Bunny put in at the beginning. It's like the fully armored horse and man. It's a twofer. Very helpful. Stop tapering outwards. No. I'm laughing because whenever I polish my features, it's like creating this like dished shape right here. See? So it looks good from the side, from the front. It's just like, what are you doing? I can center this, grab my gizmo, and then taper. That helps a lot. Yeah, if I had a crease right here as well, that would help. Okay, I don't need to work on this that much more. I just wanted to make sure I had something on her face. And then don't worry about the fact that she literally cannot see right now. This character actually looks really cool, really clean. It's gonna be very easy to add detail to and iterate from. I also just cannot stand looking at plate mail for another second. So, we're gonna move on. All right, I answered a lot of student questions over the weekend. So, low-key feeling a little burned out from that, and then thankfully it looks like nobody has any new questions, which is great because like, oh my god, on Sunday, like usually I don't respond to student work on the weekends. I kind of like take a break, right? There was so many by Sunday and this morning, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna answer all 20 of you right now. And I did. So I'm glad that you guys are still working and not needing anything. I think I'm gonna let today be super short. Super short, it's almost a 3-hour stream. I have a pot roast cooking right now, and the whole house just smells like beef pot roast, and all I can think about is food. I'm happy with Monday. We had a good kickoff. We have Summer Art Fest going again. I think I'm gonna just I'm going to just end the stream here. It sounds like I'm asking for permission. I just know that there's going to be a mutiny in the chat. Don't worry about it. I'll be back tomorrow, probably. If not, it's because I'm obsessing on new ways to create plate mail. So yeah. Oh, Eloa is celebrating. Are you happy I'm ending the stream? That's a plot twist. But yeah, a lot of great work done this weekend. I hope you guys are kind of settling into an easy Monday. And if not, I hope the stream made your day a little bit better. But I'm going to call it. 3-hour stream. Let's go. No problems. All right. It is food time. And then I'm not coming back today. Just reminder. There's no happy hour today. We are happy hourless. And that's okay. All right, y'all. That's going to be it. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to go eat pot roast. I'm super excited. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, okay? All right. You take care. Bye.